We're back. We're back. We're back quicker than you probably think we were going to be, huh? Yeah. That's why I love what I got going on here. Because this is all reactionary. This is reactionary. I would love to get to other albums that I loved in the past at some point. But shit happens. Shit starts going down. We got to talk about it. And when you have somebody like J. Cole pen a letter that ended up on the Players Tribune, 2 new songs, and announcing that his album is not yet completed, but it's coming, this causes for an emergency podcast episode. Ring the sirens. We're fucking back. 48 hours later. So, Cole dropped 2 new songs. But let's backtrack for a second. We're going to start at the end of KOD. And yeah, so musically we're going to start there. But a little bit about the way I felt Cole's career has gone. Jermaine Cole. Seems like such a cool dude. Would love to chat it up with him one day. And musically, I feel like he has always chose his lane so carefully on his albums. He had Sideline Story just debut. So this is after he had his 3 mixtapes that really got him put on. Then he had Sideline Story, just a debut, solid debut album. Some good features, good production by himself and others, I think. Good stuff. Then we go into Born Sinner. Just a solid, established in the game album. He's got access to a ton of different things. Makes a lot of good ass songs. I was listening to that album today. I know multiple buddies of mine who think that is hands down his best project so far. Could be. That's up for debate. But very solid piece of work. Then after that, he has a string of albums that just no features, just really closes himself off and hones in on one theme throughout every album. Not going to get into those albums today, maybe one day. But, between Born Sinner and KOD, really just picked one lane and stuck with himself on all of those albums. And all of them are great pieces of work. They all have fantastic songs that I go back and listen to all the time. I mean, just one of plenty of the songs that are released. The title track for For Your Eyes Only is literally one of my favorite rap songs of all time. There are random days where that is an 8-minute and 46-second song, I believe. And just there are random days that I will go back and play that song like 7 times in a row. Just do nothing but listen to that song. I mean, it is one of the most amazing pieces of work from an artist that I have heard from a storytelling perspective and everything. And the last bar in that line, which is the last bar of that album, gives me chills every single time I hear it. So, let's see. He writes this letter that came out middle of this week, or beginning of this week, called The Audacity. He's just kind of telling all the stories in his life that have gotten him to where he is at this exact moment. He talks about his competitive drive. He talks about his aspirations to be a basketball player, which apparently, if you read the letter, still trying to be a professional basketball player. He's 35 years old. This dude literally said after he dropped Forest Hills Drive, he had serious thoughts about trying to become a professional basketball player. Dude, I was So while I was blasting Neighbors, while I was blasting the album Forest Hills Drive, you were over there in the gym getting lessons, trying to become a pro player. What is going on? This man was running pickup games 5 days a week. 5 days a week running pickup games. 5 to 7 days a week running pickup games at the local fitness gym. I got J. Cole. J. Cole's on my team. Even if he was the worst player, I'm picking J. Cole first. I'm not gonna not have J. Cole on my 5-on-5 team. So he pins this letter, just kind of talks about how his competitive drive has just been has gotten him to where he is. It's his defining trait as a person. So after his basketball aspirations, after kind of establishing himself, I think he said around 2016, he said he kind of like just lost the hunger for the rap game himself. I mean, he, made multiple great albums leading up to that. And just had a lot of writer's block. And he said it was different than normal writer's block. I mean, writer's block is a very popular thing, amongst artists, writers, journalists, everything that just kind of have a roadblock in their head. But he said this was different. It wasn't a writer's block in the sense of creativity is taking a left turn. It was in the sense of there was less creativity and drive than ever before. So he said that he had to take a step back and really think like, okay, if I retired right now, would I have any regrets about my career? And it was yes. And he said the two biggest things, one was how closed off he was from his peers in the rap game, just not, collaborating that much at all throughout his career when given the opportunity. And he said it limited his friendship, like his possible friendships that he could have made, and also just limiting, pieces of work that could have happened. And then he also said that a regret that he would have is not paying enough attention or not building up his Dreamville label / record / brand that he had created. So J. Cole owns, or he's the head of a record label, Dreamville Records, which has a good amount of really, really good artists. So he said, fuck it, I'm going to go on a mission and do both of those things. And I feel like when he made that decision, he just broke free of all of the chains and limitations that he had set for himself in the music game. I feel like he had always kind of just overthought it, like, oh, I don't want to say this because that would I might be portrayed as this kind of rapper, which I'm not that kind of rapper. Like, I want to stay as grounded as possible, and I don't want to try to go too far outside of the box because that's not me. But I mean, in reality, as long as you are able to hone in what you're trying to do and do it in a grounded, just really creative manner, then I mean, definitely step out of your comfort zone and do what you think is just first and foremost, do what would be fun, I mean, and then he's one of the best rappers in the world. So then just, rap your ass off. And that's exactly what he set out to do and has accomplished up to this point after 2018. Not after 2018. After he really just made that decision. So at the end of KOD, so he's got the outro, which is amazing. And then he has the 1985, the intro to The Fall Off. And that song, kind of a battle with the younger generation. Like, there were some younger at that time, a couple of years ago, there were some younger artists that were just like, fuck J. Cole, just because he did kind of have that vibe of just like an older head, kind of clowning on people for making stupid decisions or doing things that he wouldn't, or he definitely wouldn't do. Just kind of gave that slight vibe off, which, it's okay, I guess. And then he went on a feature rampant. I mean, he had Out of Sight, Out of Mind with J-Rock. He had My Boy with Wale. He had Pretty Little Fears with Black, which I remember. I heard I saw he did a couple of these, and then Black previewed a J. Cole feature, and I was like, damn, what is Cole up to? Like I thought he's always sprinkled a verse here, a verse there from a feature perspective. But I heard 1, 2, 3, boom, got a song with Black, and the preview really sounded something out of Cole's style. So I was super pumped. I was like, J. Cole is just going for it right now. He's going for it. I don't know if all these are in order, but he had, Pretty Little Fears with Black, fantastic song, fantastic verse. Say Nah with Moneybagg Yo. I feel like that's an example of just Moneybagg Yo. You would think that's an artist that J. Cole would not collaborate with in the early to middle of his commercial career. Just hops on a track with Moneybagg Yo, just destroys the whole thing in a good way, obviously. You have Off D's with Jid, where they just absolutely spaz on the track. Spaz. And then 3 of the more popular ones, you got Purple Emoji with Dollar Sign, which is fire. Super fire track. A Lot with 21 Savage. And that verse is one for the ages. That whole song is one for the ages. And The London with Thug and Travis Scott. I feel like, those last 2 songs, I just don't imagine him jumping on those kind of songs, in the early to middle of his career. So he just set out on a mission, said, I'm going for it. I'm doing everything I've been holding back on. And I am going to just set all of these features to ablaze like I'm a fucking dragon. And then after I'm done with this feature run, I'm going to make Revenge of the Dreamers 3. So Revenge of the Dreamers is like his Dreamville collaboration tape. And Revenge of the Dreamer 1 and 2 was mostly just his label, like the people that were with him signed to his label. Revenge of the Dreamers 3, he just said there are no boundaries with this one. There are 0 boundaries. Anyone that wants to come and try to make a song and get it on this album, they are more than welcome to do it. I believe he rented out an entire studio complex. So he had an entire room or an entire building in Atlanta that had I don't even know, 5 to 10 recording rooms, and just it was flooded with people or with artists left and right, anybody you can think of. I saw a documentary on this, and Rick Ross was there. The dude's not even close to being on the album, and he was just in the studio. They had everyone there. Reason, which is an artist who is signed to TDE, which is Kendrick Lamar's label, he said that there were people. He said there are absolutely going to be people that were there at the Dreamville camp all 10 days, recording 10 days straight, and will not be on the album. He said it was a competitive grind out there. It was no joke. It was a serious rap camp. 10 days, give it all you got. J. Cole will decide which one goes on the album. I bet that was such a cool experience for so many artists and such an awesome thing for Cole to do. I'm not going to go over that album right now, but if you haven't listened to that album, there are so many fire tracks, and you can only imagine why. The competitive spirit in that building day in, day out. You have to come with your A game every single verse every single line, or it's going to get left off. I would guess there's probably over 100 songs that were made in 10 days. And I think there's a total, including the deluxe, somewhere like 25 that were released. I mean, yeah, you got to come with your A game or that shit's not going on the album. That's awesome. That'd be an awesome environment to be in. And the craziest thing to me about that album is, like I said, you get all these artists, everyone's invited. So many rappers that I don't even think I've heard of, that I've barely heard of once or twice, are in there literally trying to perform a career-defining moment. A majority of them are saying, this is my shot. I can be on this Revenge of the Dreamers 3 album, have a standout verse. It could take off. This could change everything about my career. It could change everything. And at the end of the day, on that album, nobody out-rapped J. Cole. Nobody. Every verse he came with was absolute heat. Absolute, just boring company flamethrowers. Insane. And a perfect example, the outro, Sacrifices, he has, I'm actually going to look this up because this song is amazing. I know he has Earth Gang on there. He has Smino on there. He has Saba on there. I don't think I'm missing anybody else, but he has all these artists that, you know, I'm aware of. I'm not giant fans of them. I am fans of them. I'm not just, you know, indulged in their career, listening to every single thing that comes out, but I always have loved Smino. I got a buddy or two that are giant Smino fans, and every time they play him, I'm like, dude, this dude is spitting every time. Pretty sure Smino dropped a mixtape not too long ago. Saba, solid. Earth Gang is an artist that is signed to Cole's Dreamville record, and all these rappers are just rapping their ass off, and Cole comes with maybe the best verse of all of 2019 on the song Sacrifices. I'm stating that right now. J. Cole's verse on Sacrifices is the best verse of 2019. Tell me something else that is. I want to hear your opinions. What's a better verse of 2019 than that verse right there? That shit was insane. Absolutely insane. Can't be everything to everybody. I want to be a love your best. He goes so stupid on that. So then takes a little bit of a break, and you know, shit starts getting haywire in the world. Coronavirus happens. George Floyd situation happens. Giant protests everywhere. He releases Snow on the Bluff. Now, this was kind of his statement piece within that moment. And, you know, I listened to it a couple times. I didn't really catch all of, like, every message that was played through it. I mean, I catch the original prominent message. Didn't catch all of it, you know, with, there was an issue with another rapper named No Name that he had in regards to, you know, I think, I will get to why I'm a little unfamiliar with it in a second, but he, you know, I think she had said, like, where are all the rappers right now? Like, we need y'all to stand up. And he kind of, I think in the song, kind of responded to that in a way of saying, like, I'm a little uneducated on a lot of the depths of these things. Like, somebody please teach me, but don't just call me out like that. I think that's how it went. And like I said, I'm a little unfamiliar because, like, that was such an emotionally draining time. I just could not even divulge into, like, a hip hop, like a somewhat of a hip hop beef within this entire just emotionally draining time. So I just really could not even pay close attention to that in that moment. So maybe not the best decision on both of their parts. I think they both kind of came out and were like, that was just not, how we wanted it to go. So the letter is the first thing I believe we've heard from him since that. I think they both have kind of left that in the past. Haven't really, it didn't really address that in these songs, that situation. And really what he did was just come with absolute, just unbelievable heat is what he did with these two songs. The 2-song pack's called Lewis Street. Couldn't really find out, didn't know off the top of my head why it would be called Lewis Street, but remembered / did a little research that in the song Land of the Snakes, which is a standout song off Born Sinner, starts, "This is shit I used to roll down Lewis Street with." So just a nod or an ode to a street back in his hometown. We all have those nostalgic streets that we grew up by, blasting music down that, if we have or will move away from one day, always going to remember just blasting music down that certain street, or just, memories of that street. Fun concept, definitely. So first song off the 2-pack is The Climb Back. My first reaction actually was, can I say actually anymore, was this is his climb back from the No Name situation. Didn't get that gist at all once I listened to the song a few times. This is some of my favorite music in the world, is this song right here. It is a 5-minute solo rap song. We don't really get many of those anymore. Reasons could be people are paying attention to streaming numbers. They want the songs to end quicker so they could get into the next song. Both songs have a stream at that point. This and that. A lot is said about how our generation has such a low attention span. Sure, take that with whatever. That might be the case. I don't know. 5-minute just bar heavy songs by one person, and it's not just all bars. You have just 2 set verses with a chorus before or after, and in the middle, and just bar heavy, 5 minutes. Not really getting that anymore. Not getting that much of that anymore. Most songs are, in my opinion, unfortunately, but just most songs right now are in between 2 minutes and 30 seconds and 3 minutes and 45 seconds, which, definitely some catchy stuff in there, but it does limit the amount of time you have to make a grandiose moment in that song. So yes, you're going to have, and you can make that moment in just one line of the chorus. Pretty sure, Juice WRLD album, Come and Go, that one chorus is just one just grandiose moment. And a song that, you know how long that song is? It's 2-3 minutes. Yeah, just obviously somewhere in the range that I said. But just these 5-minute songs that just give you just luscious bars, I love. And the reason it's 5 minutes is because I think I counted these bars right. I am not good at counting bars in a song, but I think both of these verses are 28 bars. A standard verse is 16 bars. If you get a feature on a song, you give them a 16. Andre 3000 and Rick Ross made a song on Rick Ross's album God Forgives I Don't called 16, and the concept of the song is that 16 ain't enough. Like, you can't fit enough into a 16 bar verse to explain what you want to do. So in that song, Rick Ross went for like 32 bars. Andre 3000 went for like 36, 37 bars. And that is a absolute classic song. And that is a classic Andre 3000 verse. Hey, what Andre 3000 verse isn't a classic verse? They all are. Every single one of them. Maybe the GOAT. Cole produced this track by himself. Don't let his production go unnoticed. Don't let it be underrated. The dude has produced, I think Hip Hop Numbers says, I think he's produced close to 75% of his own discography, and I think 54%, I believe, somewhere around those numbers, are produced, like the 54% of his discography is produced solely by him, no other co-productions. I think someone can check the Hip Hop Number Twitter account to fact check me. And it starts out saying, there's a sample that says, "Are you doing this to facilitate growth or to become famous? What's more important, getting or letting go?" Which kind of explains what he, just in a smallest form, what he was talking about in that letter that he wrote. Is he trying to grow as an artist, or is he trying to, just pinpoint certain areas that he knows he can succeed confidently and then just kind of plant that seed from there? I think to facilitate growth, plant your seeds in multiple lanes. Track's got a sweet soul sample in it. The bass starts slamming as soon as it hits. Crazy declining piano in the depths of the production. And this thing has just similes everywhere to open the track. I mean, he says, "Check out my projects like them workers that Section 8 appoint, and you'll see how I flipped the I, or excuse me, you'll see how I flipped like exclamation point. I flipped like exclamation point." I've never heard that, I don't think. You would think that's a simile that you would have heard before. I don't think I've heard that. Solid. Gotta know the ropes and the protocol, or they're gonna blow your clothes off like a promo code. Or excuse me, they're gonna blow half of your clothes off like a promo code. Hell yeah. One phone call get you canceled like a homophobe. Hell yeah. In my section like a fucking 3-piece sofa. Hell yeah. Cool. Oh man. Yeah, the first verse is wild. He says like, just to, get to the other side of the simile so many times. Really, the chorus in this, I mean, it's nice, but it's really just to get us to the verses. Just get us to the verses. 2 28-bar verses. Just absolute, just gasoline. Throw a damn match on it. And the second verse really touches on, a whole story, a detailed personal story of his about trying to help out one of his friends that was in a bad situation. But the friend just envied Jermaine Cole the whole time and was just jealous of him. And, he said, has a line in there, says, "Let him sleep on your couch and he's eating all your groceries." Just kind of, not being, helping this guy out. And the guy is just not the kind of person that will understand what you're doing for them and will just take advantage of the moment. And then I think he said something about that guy being locked up now, which unfortunate situation. But just throwing just a personal, detailed story into a song like this, after you just were so braggadocious with simile galore in the first verse, just shows the range that he's able to touch over and over again. And this, I feel like dipping into both of those styles of verses into one song is something that he has not done before. He's always kind of just had a theme for every song, and this time he's just like, fuck it, I'm throwing whatever I think can go on this verse into it. So comes up with an awesome little side story in there. And then also at the end of the verse, just talks about it's just a ton of people that are out here flaunting their money. A very common theme of a lot of people out here flaunting their money, but there are a lot of people that are just down in the dumps, poor, barely have a dime or a nickel, and we need to focus on helping those people. And he's that is a subject that he has touched on multiple times. The outro, just a sprinkle of bringing awareness to crime and murder, and that there needs to be something done to lessen it, and which is another theme that he has spoken on all throughout his career. But to be able to touch on all these kind of things in a song like this is pretty wild. It's pretty wild. I mean, it's a crazy track. I mean, at first time or two, I might have been like doing something else that I heard it. And then the third or fourth time, like just the flow of this song just really caught my attention. Was like, oh shit, like this is a different level. I mean, this is the level of Cole we've seen since the features have started, but he is on his own now going into this. And if these are the songs that we're getting, I'll get into that in a sec. I gotta stop myself. Second track, Lion King on Ice. Crazy slowed down sample. I mean, they stretched that thing out so much. It's him and T-. And T- is I would say, grade A producer. When I think of T-, I think of the I'm on One beat. And that was one of those beats that I just heard, and like I couldn't figure out like what noises was going on. I mean, I think that beat is so fire. And ever since then, anytime I hear something from T-, I mean, he produced Middle Child as well, which is a smash hit off of the Revenge of the Dreamers track. Awesome guy to team up with Cole here, and then hopefully on the album as well. Cole is out here singing on the chorus, which I love Cole singing because he's got that kind of just like deep, I don't know about deep, but just kind of like a grungy, like, I don't know exactly how to describe Cole's voice, but the first time you hear him, you think this is a pure rap star. And then you hear him dip into like a melodic lane, and I mean, he has succeeded vastly at doing that. So, but he doesn't go too far to a space that he's unable to do. He's always been able to get to that melodic state that he is that it's still potent, and I thoroughly enjoy when he does it. So, singing on the chorus, that the Twitter account Hip Hop Numbers says that he switched the flow between singing and rapping in the song 36 times. That is a lot. A lot. I mean, I think they're counting the little breaks of at the end of each line, at the end of each bar, when he'll rap it and then just teeter off to like a floated state of singing, which is still impressive. And yeah, man, I mean, he's just kind of all over the place on this one from like a flow standpoint. But what makes this song so awesome is that it like the flow is so surgical. Like it really is. Like I like the lyrics. I mean, you know, there's touches on like, you know, some of his upbringing, a little bit of a light rap beef. You know, go back to 1985, listen to that about what it's about. You know, touches on a little bit of that. The first verse, another 28 bar verse. Someone tell me if I'm counting these wrong, but if this dude's just out here handing out 28 bar verses, like you don't do that. It's either like a 16 or you double up on a 32, or you make it like a special moment that's like a giant like 57 bar verse that's like the whole song. No one's out here just handing out 28 bar verses with a chorus on the song. That's what we're getting off the next album? Hell yeah, I'm ready then. I am ready. I mean, those long form rap songs / verses are, you know, some of my favorite music. When it's just grade A bars left and right for more than a standard set, my favorite. Lion King on Ice, want to touch on this a little bit. He had a string of a trilogy of songs in his early career. Right when he was coming out, Simba came out in 2007. Grown Simba came out in 2009. Return of Simba came out in 2011. And that was like his alter ego back then, Simba. And I mean, you know, on all those tracks, he's just like rapping, like, you know, hungry, coming up in the game, trying to really make a name for himself. So he calls this one Lion King on Ice. Like, he's had that alter ego on ice up until this moment. I think it is a fire track, or a title for a track. And I had a buddy ask me if it was some like Disney on Ice kind of thing. No, I don't think it is. But this song is Heat Waves. Both of these songs. Same buddy asked me here, told me, he was like, yeah, these sound like two kind of just like deep cut tracks, like not a hit record to lead the album promo off of. And I couldn't agree more, and I couldn't love the decision anymore. Two serious, just bar heavy and just, you know, all over the place. Like the Lion King on Ice, his flow on that song is just so surgical. Like Hip Hop Number said, he switches 36 times between singing and rapping back to melodically singing, rapping. But there's not one mishap in the whole song. It's just insane the whole way through. And, you know, the flow is just, I mean, he's in there like a fucking doctor. Just every single little moment is perfectly placed, back and forth. I mean, it is so clean cut. It is just clean cut. So, you know, 2018 up until now, that's what we've got from Cole. It's some serious stuff. He's in a mode that I've never seen him in. He just like I've said, he is just broken free from any slight, maybe subconscious restraints that he has put on himself throughout his career. And it is a full go from now. This last album that he has is called The Fall Off. You know, might not be for no reason. This might be his last album. He might go focus on something else. Like he might go try to, you know, play basketball. He might go try to, I'm not kidding, read that letter. At the end of the letter, he's like, I still have hoop dreams. I'm like, bro, you're 35, one of the best rappers in the world. Stay at the fitness place. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just trying to be a little bit of a realist. I'm just kidding, J. Cole. Go for those tryouts. But yeah, I mean, if this is what we're getting from this album, where he's just, there are no rules, no restraints, no barriers. This is what we got going into this, you know, no collaboration restrictions or anything. I mean, I could see this album, like 10 years from now, we're doing another album of the decade list. I could see this being on that list of, what was the best album of the decade. I mean, if we're getting a Cole in this lane, I could see this being on there. I mean, obviously I'm not saying it's going to, but I could see this being one of the options. Like, you got this, and this. Can't forget 10 years ago, the fall off, J. Cole, especially if it's his last album and he comes out on top like this and it's just his best album to date. Absolutely. And, for God's sake, the dude's handing out 28 bar verses. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see what this thing's about. I really am. I mean, these two songs caught my attention for real. This is an emergency pod app. And I'm ready, baby. I am ready. I will catch y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in. I know it was a bit quick, but gotta make moves, baby. Gotta make moves. Yeah. Thanks to anybody who listens to this, really. I'm up here just having a blast. So, love all y'all. Call me if you need me. And I am out.